Chapter 10. Imogen didn't know what to expect, but the Quarry Tavern was a little hole in the wall that looked less than impressive from the outside. Her imagination conjured up a biker bar with a dark, smoke-filled interior and a pervasive smell of stale beer. When she pulled up, however, the parking lot was full. It must be a popular dive bar. Gabe opened the door for her, and she walked into a wonderful haven of music, laughter, and as her stomach rumbled again, food. Instead of the cave-like atmosphere she envisioned, it was like walking into a friend's home. The walls were lined with photos of people, likely patrons, over the years, and highlighted by fairy lights. In one corner of the room was a beautifully constructed stone fireplace. The tables were in all different shapes and sizes, and the chairs varied between wood and cushioned. What should have looked like a hodgepodge instead appeared beautifully bohemian. It was a place you could come and feel at home away from home. She loved it immediately. A few patrons greeted the man behind her, and he led her with a hand to the smell of her back to a small high top in the corner, farthest away from the band. After a week of the sounds of nature, it felt great to have a little excitement. Dinner and drinks on me, and then we're even. Helping out a neighbor isn't something we keep track of, but you're new, so I'll let this one slide without offense. Besides, the wings here are excellent. His eyes tracked to the curvy, brunette woman who approached the table. Harper, hey, how are things? This is Imogen. Have you two met yet? Harper gave her a big smile and a small wave. Hi there. You're Josephine's niece, right? Welcome to the village. It's so nice to have you here. I hear you're from New Jersey? Her energy was contagious, and Imogen immediately liked her. It's so nice to meet you. How did you know I was from New Jersey? Oh, news travels like wildfire in a small town. We've all heard about you for years from Jo. She's the best. She doesn't come around much, but she's good for a story when she has a pint. That is very true. I never get tired of listening. Funny how she sticks to the farm now when she used to travel the world. My mom is the same way. She says the older she gets, the less she likes to be around people. Gabe shook his head and smiled. That sounds like her. Imogen, Harper used to live in New York City. Imogen glanced from Gabe to the vivacious brunette and said, Really? That's awesome. I love the city. How did you like it? I loved it. It's so intense, and there is always something happening. I went to school there. That's so cool. So what brought you back here? It's a long story. Harper's smile dimmed a little. But I came back and opened a little store selling locally made products. It's great to be home. I'll have to stop by sometime and see it, Imogen said, genuinely meaning it. The small brunette smiled, lighting up her whole face. Anytime. Gabe can give you the details. In the meantime, Liam told me he's got a beef special to die for. I'm gonna get back to my table and eat before my date blows a gasket. She rolled her eyes good-naturedly at the young man waving at her across the darkened room. He was cute, in a farmer way. Imogen smiled at Harper's retreating back, feeling like she took all the energy in the room with her. When Gabe just looked at her without saying anything, Imogen couldn't take it anymore. What? She's so energetic, like a tiny tornado. Is it weird I want to take a nap now? Gabe laughed out loud, surprised at her pithy comment, and then cut it off quickly as the neighboring tables turned to look at the commotion. He hated being the center of attention, but it was impossible to not find her lack of filter refreshing. After perusing the menu, they ordered the specials and spent a few minutes listening to the band play. Imogen thought the music sounded familiar, but Gabe assured her the lead singer was a local carpenter, and she was unlikely to have heard them previously. Their table was popular. People kept stopping by to say hello and introduce themselves. Gabe was always friendly but quiet, never saying much. Finally, Imogen couldn't hold it in any longer. Wow, you must know everyone here. I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse. It takes some getting used to. We're a small town, and so a lot of people know each other growing up. But they aren't here to see me. You are the new girl. Everyone wants to meet you. It must be a lot more populated where you're from, less like living in a fishbowl. She nodded her head. Absolutely. My town is small also, but close to the shore, so we get a lot of tourists. The shore, that's the beach, right? Yep, it's a Jersey thing. Don't even ask. I wasn't going to, promise. We get a lot of tourists here also, which is great for the town. Still, the locals tend to stick together. The food came and they ate in companionable silence. But there was something that kept bothering her. I don't want to keep bringing this up, but I was wondering something. He motioned for her to continue speaking. What will happen to Fortune if he runs away again? They won't hurt him, right? Gabe swallowed slowly, surprise running across his face. Why would you think that? I don't know, just a feeling. He and Bianca don't seem like the best match. I don't know if that was the right feeling, but I'm worried if he pushes her too far, she'll react badly. Gabe sighed. Bianca is a lot of things, spoiled primarily, but she's not mean, Imogen. She's not going to hurt him. I admit she didn't give the best first impression, but neither did you. Ouch. That was fair, but it hurt regardless. I guess I'm just worried. I know I probably should have kept my opinion to myself, but I have trouble with the filter from my brain to my mouth. Gabe took a sip of his beer and then grinned. I didn't realize you even had a filter. Har har. Imogen rolled her eyes, but couldn't argue with him. Her mouth had gotten her into trouble a time or two. Don't worry. Laura knows what she is doing, and Bianca isn't a mean person. She's just frustrated with the situation because we don't know why Fortune is acting out. Imogen nodded, trusting his word. In the short time she knew him, he'd been nothing but steady and dependable. He could be a good friend while she was here. I can't stop thinking that he keeps running away for a reason. Her trainer seemed nice. Do you think they'd mind if I stopped by the barn to say hello? It's been forever since I rode a horse. Laura would probably give you lessons if you want to ride, but I doubt you'd be able to spend time with Fortune. He's a sport horse and in a heavy training program. But at least you could see that he's getting good care and isn't abused. I would love that. It's been a long time since I've been at a barn. I'm having fun with the farm animals, but I didn't realize how much I missed the horses. Anytime you want to stop by and say hello to Rowdy or my other horses, you're welcome. They love attention, and I work so much I don't spend nearly as much time with them as I'd like. He glanced at his watch. Speaking of, let's get going. I have an early call tomorrow. Imogen paid the bill, said goodbye to Harper, who gave her a hug like they were old friends, and promised to visit her store soon. Gabe walked her back to her car, opening the door like a gentleman. It made her a little nervous. She worried for a minute he'd think it was a date and try to kiss her, but he simply thanked her for the meal and went to his truck after making sure she was set. She waited until he started his engine, then took the dark, winding road back to her aunt's, annoyed that she was just a little bit disappointed. After all, just because she wasn't looking for a relationship didn't mean he knew that.